This video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet, a slim front pocket wallet available in carbon fiber and titanium. With more than 250,000 sold, a lifetime guarantee and free shipping, get 10% off with the code GOLDFISH at ridgewallet.com. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Thursday means it's Fishbowl Thursday here at Instant Deck Tech Land, and it's also Dominaria Week, which means not only do we have a super sweet Fishbowl Thursday deck, it's a Dominaria influenced Fishbowl Thursday deck, and we're heading to Standard for Jhoira Storm. Jhoira Storm taking advantage of some of my favorite cards in the format: Aetherflux Reservoir, Paradoxical Outcome, and of course, Jhoira Weatherlight Captain, and also Mox Amber, so lots of sweet Dominaria stuff comes to us from Dopey. So thanks so much, Dopey, for sending in a really cool deck. If you want your own deck considered for a future Fishbowl Thursday, make sure to leave a link in the comments, or you can send me an email, saffronolive@mtggoldfish.com. Anyway, let's break down Jhoira Storm for Dominaria Standard. So this deck is built around Jhoira Weatherlight Captain. This is one of our main combo pieces. So for 4 mana, you get a 3/3 legendary creature. The big deal is whenever you cast a historic spell, you get to draw a card. So that's artifact, legendaries, or sagas. In our deck, this is an artifact deck. That's what we're casting. The idea of this deck is we're going to play Jhoira, and we're going to play artifacts, and we are going to draw tons and tons of cards, and eventually, the tons and tons of cards that we draw are going to lead to us winning the game. So what are we casting to trigger Jhoira? And first off, we have Ornithopter and Mox Amber. These cards might not jump off as very powerful. Mox Amber, not often going to tap for mana. It does if Jhoira's out, but we don't have a ton of legendary creatures or planeswalkers. Ornithopter, just a 0/2, but as we go through our combo, you'll see why these cards are important. Plus, with Jhoira out, they're just 0 mana draw a card, which is never a bad deal, especially when we can get some extra synergy out of them. Then we have Implement of Improvement and Renegade Map. Renegade Map lets us cut back on our lands a little bit, because it's essentially an enter the battlefield tap basic land. We can tutor up a land by sacrificing it. That also draws us a card if we got Jhoira out, and if we don't need a land, we can leave it on the battlefield, do some other things with it. Implementive Improvement's just a one of, basically just a do nothing 1 mana artifact to trigger Jhoira and our other stuff. Then we have, at the top end of our artifact curve, Prophetic Prism and Inspiring Statuary. So Prophetic Prism fixes our mana, although our mana is pretty solid, just being a 2-color deck. Draws us a card. If we have Jhoira out, it actually draws us 2 cards instead of 1. One from Prism itself, one from Jhoira. And then Inspiring Statuary is our next key combo piece. So we can use it to improvise out a non-artifact spell. So like Jhoira, for example, we can pay 2 real mana, tap a couple artifacts, do it that way. But Inspiring Statuary is our second key combo piece. So as we're casting all these Ornithopters and Mox Ambers and Prophetic Prisms, we're drawing all these cards, we get down our Inspiring Statuary. The next step of the deck is to use Inspiring Statuary to cast Paradoxical Outcome for hopefully just 1 mana. So tap 3 artifacts, cast Paradoxical Outcome. If you're not familiar with Paradoxical Outcome, it lets us bounce any number of non-land, non-token permanents we control and draw a card for each one of them. So what we're setting up is flooding the board with all these artifacts, Jhoira drawing us all these cards, more artifacts, eventually Inspiring Statuary with Paradoxical Outcome, and we're picking up the Mox Ambers, we're picking up the Ornithopters, the Prophetic Prisms, all of that stuff is going back to hand. We're going to draw a ton of cards along the way from Paradoxical Outcome, and then the final step is we just cast an Aetherflux Reservoir, and we're probably going to have like 10, 20 cards in hand. We simply recast all of our cheap artifacts. Ornithopter, 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 Mox Amber, Mox Amber, Mox Amber, Implement, Renegade Map, cast it, cast it, cast it, cast it. If we need to, we can Paradoxical Outcome again for 1 mana, bounce all the 0 mana artifacts, recast them again, Ornithopter, 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 Mox Amber, Mox Amber, Mox Amber. That kind of storms off with Aetherflux Reservoir. We're gaining oodles and tons of life. We end up at 100 life or something. Then we simply pay 50 of that life and 50 our opponent to win the game. So Jhoira is kind of the piece that just fills our hand and makes sure we have enough artifacts to do that, and eventually draws us into the Inspiring Statuary, Paradoxical Outcome, Aetherflux Reservoir combo kill. We also have 1 Antiquities War. So Antiquities War is basically our backup finisher if something goes wrong with our Aetherflux Reservoir plan, where we just can't win that way. Antiquities War gives us another line line of attack. So we play it, we dig, we grab random artifacts, which is good on its own since we have so many artifacts in its deck. And then afterwards, when we hit our third lore counter, all of our artifacts become 5/5s until end of turn. So Ornithopter, a 5/5, our Implement, a 5/5, Renegade Map, a 5/5, all that stuff turns into 5/5s, which should be enough that we can just swing with like 8 5/5s or 10 5/5s and kill our opponent with creature damage. Otherwise, we got a little bit of support stuff. Reverse Engineer, pretty much 2 mana, draw 3, since we can improvise it really easily. Abrade gives us some flexible removal, getting rid of early game threats. Also, God Pharaoh's Gift, Heart of Kirin's, other powerful artifacts. Sweltering Suns gives us a sweeper that we can always cycle away if it's bad. As far as the mana base, Field of Ruin to deal with flip lands. Inventor's Fair lets us tutor up our Aetherflux Reservoir, our Inspiring Statuary, whatever we need. Also gain some incidental life. As far as the mana producing lands, the big ones are Sulphur Falls, Inspire Bluff Canal to fix our mana, a bunch of basic lands. In the sideboard, we have a bunch of ways to protect our combo. Negate Metallic Rebuke, protect it by just countering stuff that would stop it. I know from experience, playing Aetherflux Reservoir decks, in decks similar to this, without Jhoira, without Mox Amber, old school versions of this deck, the counters can be really punishing. You do all this work, you're expecting that Aetherflux Reservoir to win the game, or the paradoxical outcome to draw you 10 cards, and then your opponent has a countered, everything falls apart. Negate and Metallic Rebuke stop that from happening. Padim protects our artifacts from targeted removal, from Abrades, which are played everywhere and very powerful. Also just draws us some random cards. We also have a couple of more cheap artifacts that also do other things that we don't have in the main deck. So Sentinel Totem gives us some graveyard hate. Also, it still works with our Jhoira, with our bouncing cheap artifacts plan. Sorcerer Spyglass, same way. We can name Scarab God, we can name Chandra, any other Planeswalker. Also just a cheap artifact that we can bounce with Paradoxical Outcome, replay to trigger Aetherflux Reservoir and Jhoira. Then we have some more defense. Hour of Devastation, Sweltering Suns as sweepers. Brawl's Expertise, kind of like the bounce sweeper. Also get to play something for free. Works well with a combo too, like a backup combo piece. Some builds play this main deck because you improvise it out for 2 mana, pick up like 3 Ornithopters, replay something for free, play the 3 Ornithopters, get a bunch of life with your Aetherflux Reservoir. And then our backup finisher, if we're not going to get there with Antiquities War or with Aetherflux Reservoir, we have Nezahal Primal Tide to just come in really hard to kill because we draw so many cards, beat our opponent down that way. And that is Jhoira Storm for Dominaria Standard. And that's been our Instant Deck for today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.